In this session, we will see objective questions from the chapter Body Fluids and Circulation. So let us see the first question. Mark the pair of substances among the following which is essential for coagulation of blood. Right? So the first option means, okay, that is here heparin. So heparin is a anticoagulant substance, and calcium ions are the one which help in coagulation of blood. So we have seen already in the synopsis all those 13 clotting factors. Okay, so among them we know the clotting factor 4 is this calcium ions, right? And right, so heparin is an anticoagulant substance. So heparin is a anticoagulant substance. So of course calcium ions are the one responsible for clotting of blood. So hence as he asked, okay, the pair of substances that are essential for, okay, clotting of blood. So hence we cannot take this A, and I mean in A option that has heparin and calcium ions. Right, the second one, the calcium ions and platelet factors. Yes, so these two are, right, helpful in coagulation of blood. Okay, so before we confirm this B option as a right, we need to check C and D options also. Fine. So oxalates and citrates, these are also anticoagulant substances that are usually mixed with the blood and kept the I mean keep the blood in the blood banks for a longer time. So these oxalates and citrates are used as, again, anticoagulant substances. So they mix these substances to the blood, and usually we find their use in the blood banks. The next one, again here, the platelet factors are the one responsible for coagulation of blood, whereas heparin is again an anticoagulant substance. So C and D, we cannot take it as answer. So finally, so answer is the calcium ions and platelet factors is the right answer, right, for the pair of substances that are essential for coagulation of blood. The next question is the question number 3 from the material. Which one of the following blood cells is involved in antibody production? Okay, so we'll see here, of course, the lymphocytes, the B and T, and the neutrophils are all the types of the WBC cells. Okay, so now here these B lymphocytes are the lymphocytes that mature in bone marrow. So lymphocytes that matured in bone marrow, they are called the B lymphocytes. And in the similar way, the lymphocytes that matured in thymus are called T lymphocytes. So I hope you have understood. The B stands for bone marrow here, and the T stands for thymus. Now, right, so if we look at here, so these RBCs, so RBCs are the one that are involved in okay, carrying respiratory gases, so that is oxygen and carbon dioxide. Then the neutrophils are phagocytes, so they are phagocytes. So phagocytosis is a process where, okay, the when neutrophil comes in contact with a right substance, okay, that doesn't belong to the body, or a microbe, when it comes here, so this neutrophil just behaves like a amoeba cell. So say suppose here we have is a microbe, right? So when it comes in contact with, this is a neutrophil, so when it comes in contact here, right, the cytoplasm, it produces, of course, the neutrophil produces, okay, the finger like projections, those are called pseudopodia. It extends the pseudopodia, and then you can see engulfing that microbe, and finally the pseudopodia extend, and the merge at a point, and you can see it almost engulfed the microbe, and finally it results in, okay, forming a food vacuole, so inside. So here, and to this, the, okay, the lysosomes containing enzymes will come and merge and release those substances into, okay, this vacuole, right? So you can see this is microbe, and what happens, the microbe gets completely digested. So this is the lysosome that contains digestive enzymes, and it completely digests, okay. And then in the next case, you can see almost it is digested, and this one in the next case comes to, right, to the surface, that is the plasma membrane, and here when it merges, it breaks and then releases those substances, okay, to outside. So this is actually the phagocytosis. I just here mentioned the phagocytosis, okay, process that takes place, okay. So neutrophils are phagocytes, they are not involved in production of antibodies. And here the T lymphocytes are the cells that are involved in, okay, cell mediated immunity. So the T lymphocytes are involved in cell mediated immunity, okay. Now coming to this A option, that is B lymphocytes. So B lymphocytes are the one, okay, produced antibodies. So answer is A. So B lymphocytes out of these four. So they act, in fact, out of any WBC cells, it is the only B lymphocytes who produce antibodies. Right, so let's see the next question, question number 4. The cardiac impulse is initiated and conducted further up to ventricle. The correct sequence of conduction of impulse. So let's see. So we know, so in the case of, right, okay, so here we have SA node, so that is sino-auricular node, and here we have is AV node, auriculoventricular node, and arising from the AV node, that is auriculoventricular node, we have auriculoventricular bundle. So I call it AV bundle, and that AV bundle will divide into two branches. So you can see here it divide into two branches, so that will be the left and right branches. So this is the AV bundle, and this is the left, okay, branch, or the left bundle of that, okay, AV bundle. So this is the left branch, and this is the right branch, and they entered into the wall of the ventricles, where they, okay, further form a lot of branches and are called Purkinje fibers, okay. right? So now here we know that uh, okay, right? So we know that here it is in the SA node the action potential is generated. So that action potential, so once it is generated, so it will be okay spread all over the ventricles, and from there it reaches to the AV node. From the AV node it reaches to the okay AV bundle. So SA node to AV node, AV node to the AV bundle, and from the AV bundle the information passes to this left and right branches, of course, and to the Purkinje fibers. So first one, let's see whether the first option, let's see whether this sequence it follows or not. So SA node to AV node and directly to Purkinje fibers. No, it has okay. The next after AV node we should have AV bundle. The next option, SA node to Purkinje fibers. No, so this is also a wrong option. And then SA node to AV node. Okay, so AV node to AV bundle and AV bundle to Purkinje fibers. Okay, so before coming to this option as an answer, let's see the D option to SA node. Again, okay, Purkinje fibers. So this is also wrong. So the correct option is SN node to AV node to AV bundle and Purkinje fibers. So where you can get an idea from this picture. Right, next let's see the next question. So the second heart sound, that is dub, is associated with the closure of the tricuspid valve, semilunar valves, or the bicuspid valve, or the tricuspid and bicuspid valves. Okay, so let's see this. So here are right. So we know this is the right atrium and this is right ventricle, and here is this called the bicuspid or the mitral valve, and on this side we have is the tricuspid valve. So bicuspid valve or mitral valve, and in the okay on the left side, so this is the left atrium and this is left ventricle. Okay, and we know that arising from the right ventricle, okay, so we have is fine, so I'm sorry, right, so this is left auricle, left ventricle. Okay, right, so this side is left auricle, left ventricle. Okay, so here arising from the left ventricle we have is the dorsal aorta. So here you will find the dorsal aorta. Okay, and the opening of this dorsal aorta, of course, from this left ventricle, so it has semilunar valves. In the same time, okay, of course, on other hand, the right ventricle, from the right ventricle is the pulmonary artery. Okay, and that is also guarded by the semilunar valves. And we know when the auricles contract, the blood flows into the ventricles, and later when the ventricles contract, the blood may okay go back into the auricles, and that is prevented by this bicuspid, okay, valve, okay, on the left hand side, and tricuspid valve on the right hand side. Okay, now these the blood, as it cannot pass back, the blood from the left ventricle will enter into the aorta. So that is oxygenated blood. We know the left side of the heart carries oxygenated blood, and the right side will carry deoxygenated blood. In the same way, here also, in the from the right ventricle, the blood enters into the pulmonary artery. Now once this is finished, the ventricles will relax, they come back to their normal, okay, shape. So while coming, okay, to their original or normal condition, what happens is the ventricles size increases, and that reduces the pressure, and that may actually will try to pull back the blood that entered into the respective blood vessels. So to prevent that backward flow of blood which entered into the pulmonary artery and aorta, the semilunar valves close. And the closure of the semilunar valves will produce the second heart sound, and that is dub. Whereas the closure of tricuspid and bicuspid will produce the first heart sound, that is lub. So the tricuspid is not an answer, right? The second one is the semilunar valves. So semilunar valves is the right answer, okay. That produces the second heart sound, dub. So tricuspid, bicuspid, not at all. So the third or fourth option is also the tricuspid and bicuspid valves together. So all these are wrong answers, and only the semilunars will be the right answer. Next question: what would be the cardiac output of a person having 72 beats per minute and a stroke volume of 50 ml? So we know that the cardiac output, so we calculate the cardiac output as, okay, the stroke volume into number of, okay, heartbeats, or number of beats, okay, per minute. So here already they have given the stroke volume, so that is, okay, 50 ml into, okay, 72 heartbeats per minute. Okay, right? So 50 into 72 will give you a value of 3600, okay, right, ml per minute will be the answer, right? So cardiac output is equal to, that is stroke volume into number of beats per minute. So hence multiplying the stroke volume into number of beats, you get a answer, that 3600 ml per minute. So the answer is 3600 ml per minute. At the next question: which of the following does not play a role in blood coagulation? Options: A fibrinogen, B calcium ions, and C vitamin K, and vitamin D. Now let's see this fibrinogen. We know it is a clotting factor 1. So fibrinogen is clotting factor 1, whereas calcium ions are clotting factor 4. So clotting factor 4. Okay, so here coming to vitamin D. So this vitamin D is required for complete synthesis of certain proteins. So required for synthesis of certain proteins, right? So these proteins that are needed for the coagulation of blood. so that are required for coagulation of blood. Okay. Right. So or it will be that is vitamin K will also help in controlling, right, binding of calcium in bones and other tissues. So for that we understand that vitamin K is very much important for the coagulation of blood. So here we know these A, D, E, K are the fat soluble vitamins, right? And coming to this vitamin D, the vitamin D helps in the calcium, okay, homeostasis, helps in calcium homeostasis and metabolism. So that's why it is also called a calciferol. Okay. So out of the four options, right? So which of the following, right, doesn't play a role in blood coagulation will be the vitamin D. So fibrinogen plays a role in blood coagulation, calcium ions play a role in blood coagulation, and vitamin K also we have seen it is required for, okay, blood coagulation. And the vitamin D doesn't play, so it has a role in calcium homeostasis and metabolism. So hence the answer is vitamin D. Let's see the next question. So, in which of the following pairs of terms both represent one and the same thing? So, if you see here, of course, the leukocyte, the type of leukocyte here is a lymphocyte. So, but it doesn't mean same. So, leukocytes, okay, or the WBC cells are one and the same, okay, and one type under that is lymphocytes, right? Next, plasma and serum are again not one and the same. Okay, so we know that, okay, plasma minus right clotting factors is the serum, right? So the serum will not clot, but it has antibodies. So I'll mention here serum has antibodies, right? So plasma and serum are not one and the same. Then coming to mitral valve. So mitral valve and bicuspid valve. Yes. So these two are one and the same. We'll see here one more. The atrioventricular node is pacemaker. No, the pacemaker is SA node. Okay, and I told that AV node has another name, the node of Tawara. That is different. So atrioventricular node and pacemaker are not one and the same. Its mitral valve and bicuspid valve are one and the same. So answer is C, right? So the next question, how many double circulations are normally completed by the human heart in 1 minute? Okay, so now let's see it. We know here that the cardiac cycle, I mean each cardiac cycle lasts, okay, about 0.8 seconds. So this cardiac cycle, we know that it includes the contraction of auricles, ventricles, and even the relaxations, in which, okay, it completes a double circulation. So in each cardiac cycle completes a double circulation. Okay, so that double circulation which includes the systemic and pulmonary circulations. Okay, so hence we say that for one double circulation it will take around 0.8 seconds, and we know that, okay, so these 0.8 seconds, of course, here we have seen that SA node produces action potentials. So those action potentials are okay between 70 to 75 okay per minute. SA node produces 70 to 75 per minute, and we have seen average as 72 okay action potentials per minute. So each action potential corresponds to a complete heartbeat. Okay, so that is this double circulation. Average, right, 72 per minute. Okay, clear? So now, as I said that, okay, so the cardiac cycle that lasts around 0.8 second, and each cardiac cycle involves this double circulation. Okay, so you will get the 0.8 will take the maximum 0.8 into 75 right beats, then we get around 60 minutes. Okay, so for this one, I mean 60 right, sorry, this is not minute, it's a second, so that is 1 minute. So in 1 minute, okay, so we say there are right 75 beats, right, and we have taken the average 72. So hence, as we don't have here 75, the nearest value what we have, the average value here they have given is 72. So hence the answer is 72. Right, so here I mean not per, this is which I mean 1 minute. So right, so the next question is RH positive person donated blood to I'm sorry, RH negative person donated blood to RH positive person for the second time, then what happens? So here, right, okay, so RH negative person donated blood to RH positive person for the second time, then what will happen? So we'll see RH negative person, right, is the donor, and RH positive person is recipient. Okay, so when we say RH negative person, we know that okay there is no RH antigen. So there is no RH antigen, and in this case there is okay presence of RH antigen, right? So here, okay, if RH antigen is present in the donor's blood, then only the recipient's blood will produce antibodies against to that antigen. So we know the reaction is okay, the recipient antibodies okay will fight with the donor's antigens. Okay, so this is the fight okay between antigen and antibody, how it takes place. So it is always the antibodies of recipient will fight with the antigens of the donor. So hence here, as there is no RH antigen at all, there will be no production of antibodies against RH antigen. So hence okay the person that is RH positive person, for him it will happen nothing, not for the second time, third time, how many times he takes the blood from a RH negative person, nothing happens to RH positive person. Okay, so hence RH negative blood starts reacting to RH positive blood. No. The RH positive person will die. No. RH negative person will die. So in any circumstances, the donor in fact will not die. So anything, if it happens, it will happen with only a recipient. Nothing happens to the Rh positive person. So answer is nothing happens to Rh positive person. So right, I hope here you are clear that always the antibodies of the recipient will fight with the antigens, and here for the Rh negative person there are no antigens, and when there are no antigens, the antibodies which will be specific to this antigen will not be formed. So hence nothing happens to Rh positive person. So the next question, which of the following cannot be detected by ECG, that is electrocardiograph? So we have options: a heart block, myocardial infarction, that is heart attack, valvular defects, and arrhythmia. So here heart block, which means, okay, so there is no proper transmission of action potentials. So from SA node to AV node, right, or from the AV node, okay, so to other parts. So there is no proper transmission of action potential. Here I particularly talk between SA node to AV node. So here for this reason, this heart block is also called atrioventricular block. Because of this, the heart beats slowly. So heart block when there is no proper transmission of action potentials from the SA node to AV node. So for that we also call it atrioventricular block. So this myocardial infarction, which we also call it the heart attack, okay, then the arrhythmia is irregular heartbeat. So all these heart blocks, the myocardial infarction, and irregular heartbeat can be detected by ECG. So whereas the valvular defects will be detected by a chest X-ray. So hence the answer for this, which of the following cannot be detected by ECG, is the valvular defects. So the next question, which one pair of parents out of the following most likely to get a child who would suffer from hemolytic disease of newborn? So this hemolytic disease of newborn is also called in short HDN. You can also call it hemolytic disorder of a newborn, is nothing but another name for erythroblastosis fetalis. Now this erythroblastosis fetalis is caused when mother is Rh negative, right, and the fetus is Rh positive. Okay, so mother should be Rh negative and fetus should be Rh positive. So hence you can write remove these options. So mother cannot if she is Rh positive, there is no chance of the condition erythroblastosis fetalis. So hence, okay, you can eliminate this A option as well as, okay, the C option. So what comes with this is, right, the only will be left with two options, that is Rh right negative mother and Rh negative father. So in this case, okay, we'll take the negative in case of the father, and also the negative in case of right. So I'll mention in another way, like Rh negative, again Rh negative, Rh negative. So this is in the case of the mother. So because the mother and the father both are negative, so here during the gamete formation. Okay, so we get RH negative here, and when you see RH, okay, negative only, so that is negative. So hence overall this is RH negative. It means that when a RH negative mother marries a RH negative, okay, of course, woman marries RH a negative man, then their children will be 100% RH negative. Okay, so hence you need to eliminate even this option. So in this case there is no chance, okay, that their children to have the positive case. Now coming to the last option, the RH negative mother and RH positive father. So we'll take here, so the father RH, okay, positive. I'll take in heterozygous condition. Okay, so first, and then we'll see in case of heterozygous condition also. So RH, okay, the mother is RH negative. Okay, so this, when I said already positive and negative, then the person is positive. So here there is a chance of two gametes formation, RH positive. This is also RH negative, and here you will get RH negative. So this one and this one, RH positive and RH negative, you will get positive here. So this and this, RH negative and RH negative, you will get negative here. So it means that there is a 50-50, okay, chance of having right RH positive or RH negative. Okay, right. If even you can take in this case homozygous, I'll take the father as RH positive and RH positive, and mother as RH negative and RH negative. So here you will get RH positive, here you will get RH negative, and their children will be RH positive and negative. That is overall it will be positive. So it means 100% of their children will be positive. Okay, so in either of these conditions the father is positive and the mother is negative. So RH negative mother and RH positive father is the right answer for this. Okay, right. So with this we will end up with the level 1 questions. In the next session we will see some more questions from the level 1, and possible we'll also begin with the level 2 questions.